Hi, I'm going to answer a few questions for the You Matter campaign. Please excuse me while I read from the screen. It'll just help me get my message across clear. Thanks. First question is why do white allies matter to the communities? But personally, I believe that white allies matter to the communities more than ever at this point. I think we've reached a point where you're finally starting to see that most people realize some type of change is desperately needed. Although you still have your small percentage of people in this country, including our president, that are blind to the injustice that occurs, you can see the majority of our country is now understanding there's a problem and that we really do need to address this issue. It's up to people like me to hold other white people accountable while supporting the push for equality. Second question, why do white men that are allies matter to society? Clearly, there's a long, terrible history between white men and the black community. I believe that white men from my generation will end up making a huge impact and will really shape this movement. To give an example of that, a few weeks ago I was downtown for a Billy Joel concert, and it was in the midst of all the craziness going on in St. Louis. So I was downtown and I saw two kids that were probably in their mid-20s, and they were holding up Black Lives Matter signs, and I saw them speaking to a middle-aged lady in a minivan. And the lady was beginning to yell and got very defensive. And as I walked closer, I noticed that she was making extremely racist comments that were extremely offensive, and I would rather not repeat them right now. But these two gentlemen held their ground, respectfully, explained their position. The things that she was saying made zero sense, and they were a really good example of what we need to be doing in society to help push this movement forward. As a white man in his late 20s, it's important for me to set a good example to the younger generation that is still looking up to me. Having young cousins that are still in high school and in early stages of college, I think I set a precedent that's important for them to look up to, and I try to do my part in society to live a life without hate. Lastly, why do I matter as a human being? I matter as a human being just as much as any other human being on Earth matters. We're all fortunate enough to be put on this earth, no matter your color, gender, ethnicity. I truly believe every younger generation is born with a better view of the world than the generation prior to it. Ultimately, it's up to me and the rest of us to continue to make strides towards achieving a society where everybody is treated equally. And I do think that as we evolve and as the next generation is born, I do think we will reach that point. And it's important for people like me and everyone right now to continue to push for an equal society. Thanks.